Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. We are in the last 19th Prakaranam, Bheshaja Prayoga Prakaranam, which is in the form of a dialogue between Atma and the mind. Mind seems to be a pretty smart entity, bringing up all kinds of Purvapakshas and giving a hard time to Atma. The 14th verse said, question was, yad upalabhyate tadasti abhyivagamyate. How do you determine that something is? When it becomes an object of experience, then you know that it is. Like a pot is because you experience it. Upalabhyate, you perceive. Yanna upalabhyate, like the horn in my head, it's not an object of experience, so it is not. Duality, Jagat, is what you perceive, you experience. And non-duality, Atma, you never experience. Therefore, how do you say Atma is, non-duality is, and duality is not? Because from the criterion that we are familiar with, what is perceived and experienced is Dvaitam. Answer is Darshana Darshane Navasu Sattva Asattvayoho Karane. That you experience something is not the criterion for determining its existence, or that you don't experience something is also not the criterion for determining its non-existence. Existence and or reality and unreality cannot be determined from whether they're experience or not, object of experience or not. Something else is the reason. What is it? Satya abhaditam satyam. Vedanta's definition of what is real is abhaditam. Unreal is bhadayogyam. Asadvayam tevi yad ikshate na dushtamityeva na chaiva nastita. Yad ikshate tadvayam dvaitam dushtamapi asat. In fact, Vedanta says whatever you experience is mithya. Because what you experience has to come within the framework of the organs of perception in the mind, which are limited, meaning that whatever we experience is limited, which means it is a birth, it is perishable, and therefore it is not permanent, not eternal, not real. So whatever you experience, the duality is asat, in fact mithya, like the dream of the objects. And just because you do not experience in a conventional sense the non-dual doesn't mean that it is not existing. Yatah pravritta sadasad vikalpana, that from which the sadasad vikalpana, this projection of sat and asat, is and is not, gross and subtle, cause and effect, yatah pravritta, from where this has originated, that has to be accepted. If there is this vikalpana, jagat consisting of sat and asat, gross and subtle, is and is not, the source from where it has originated, its adhishthanam has to be accepted. When vikalpana is there, you have to accept the adhishthanam, whether you experience it or not, because niradhisthana brahma or the projection without adhishthanam cannot be. Yet what you experience, Dvaitam, is projection. Therefore, adhishthanam is proven to be there. Fifteenth verse says, Sadabhyapetam bhavatopukalpitam vicharaheto idyasya nastita. Bhavata upakalpitam. So vichara, now the teacher is saying very, very interesting and important thing that you want to deliberate upon whether there is what is real. Dvaita is real or not, and for that vichara to take place, you have to have a basis that something has to be there which you, like Dvaitam, you accept that as a basis of vichara or deliberation, and then arrive at the understanding conclusion whether it is real or not real. Therefore, bhavata sadvastu abhyapetam. So, fact that you are performing deliberation, that means that you accepted a basis for deliberation, which is sat or existence. Vichara heto upakalpitam. For the purpose of vichara or deliberation, you begin from a point and therefore you have to start with sat, whether it is there or not. For that, you have to begin with sat. Not something that is non-existent, you don't experience. You start with something that you experience. Hi tasya sadvastunaha nastita. If you say that sat is non-existent, then vicharasya hanat, what do you have as a basis of vichara or deliberation? Apravrutte, vichara deliberation cannot. So something must be there as an object of experience for you to determine what its reality is. Non-existence cannot become the basis of deliberation. So if you don't accept an existent entity, then how will you even begin the deliberation whether it is there or not? Therefore, tatheva samsthitam anirnitam iti samsthitam. Therefore, you don't accept some basis, then even vichara also cannot be carried out, and therefore you cannot arrive at any conclusion at all. Sadabhyapetam bhavataha upakalpitam vicharahe yadi tasya nastita. Vicharahanacha, vicharahana means vichara pravrittehe, vichara deliberation cannot take place if there is no basis for it. Tatheva samsthitam, meaning anirnitam. Nachet adishtam nitaram, and even you also want to arrive at a certain conclusion about what it is, therefore sat ishyate. You to begin with something. Begin with Sat to say that it is not real. If you don't accept that, then what will you begin with? What will be the basis of your deliberation? Continuing with this 16th verse, Bhaut evam vichar anyathanopatya sadvastu siddhi. All right. We accept that vichara or deliberation, for deliberation to happen, then you accept sadvastu and then say whether it is there or not. So sadvastu siddhi. The fact that you are deliberating upon what is a reality or there is a reality or not. Therefore, you would accept something like sadvastu as a point of inquiry to determine whether it is there or not. So, vichar anyathanupatya. If there is nothing, if there is non-existence according to you as a reality, then what will you start with as a deliberation? So, at least you have to accept something, sadvastu, for deliberation to take place. And then you say, no, it is not there. But you begin with tat artha kriyam karoti nava. Next is asking, your sadvastu, is it useful or not? So for some people, such as the Nayayika, usefulness is criterion for reality. That this water is because it serves the purpose of quenching your thirst, and the mirage water is not here because it does not serve the purpose. So according to the Nayayikas, that alone can be called truth or satyam which serves the purpose. So they are asking, your sat or existence or reality, does it serve a purpose or not? If it serves the purpose, then it is a tangible entity, it is a changing entity, and what is changing according to the Buddha is kshanikam or momentary, because that alone can change. Adye kshanikatvaapattihi. If your sat, the Purva Pakshi is asking, if your sat is useful, then it must be a tangible entity, then it must be momentary. Abhipretya dvitiye, and if it is not useful, then narashungadehe avishesha, then the horn on my head also is not useful, doesn't serve any purpose because it is non-existent. And you say sat also does not serve a purpose. Therefore, sat also comes in the category of narashungam or the horn on the human head. This is the Bauddha Shankate. This is the Bauddha Shanka. Something is useful, it is tangible, changing, and kshanikam. Not useful, not existent. And so Shanka, verse 16 starts with a Shanka. Asatsamam ched asadityapi Satsadityapiti ched Asatsamam chaiva sadityapiti ched Anarthavatvad narashungatulyatah Anarthavatvam tvasati hyakaranam न चैव तस्मान्न विपर्ययेऽन्यथा. So, asatsamam cha eva sad iti api iti ched anarthavatvad narashungatulyatah. This is Purva Paksha. Anarthavatvad Arthakriya rahitatvat asat samam chaiva sad iti api. So, sad also becomes like asat. Sad api asat samam cha. Sat also, the truth also is as good as asat or non-existent. Why is it so? Anarthavatvat, or because there is lack of arthavatvam, arthakriya shunyatvat. It is true that Sat, existence or Brahman or Atma is not useful at all. Because it does not participate in any transaction. Is Atitam, it's beyond all transactions. Ashana vipase jara mrityum, what is it? Shokam moham jara mrityum atyedi. Truth is the transcendental entity. Meaning that it is untouched or unaffected by any of the samsara, vyavahara, samsara dharma. And therefore the questions are whether it is there or not. Usually what is experienced, what is useful, what is perceived is accepted as existent in our day-to-day vyavahara. But here is Brahman or Sat or Atma or consciousness, which does not become part of any vyavahara. And therefore, by the rule that for something to be there, it must be useful, that criterion does not apply to Sat or consciousness. Asat Shrautam Sat. The Sat that Shruti is talking about, Sadeva Swami Idamagrasid. Asat Sam, that is as good as Asat or non-existent, Artha Kriya Shunyatvad, because it is devoid of any usefulness. Narashrungavat iti, like the horn on the human head, it is not useful. So also Sat is not useful, and therefore Sat is like the horn on the head, non-existent. This Anumanam, this is the Purvapaksha. Asatsvam cheva sadityapiti ched anarthavatvad naraso. This is Anumanam which is presented by Purvapaksha is stated properly by the Tikakara. The Shrautam Sat Asatsamam. Asatsamam chaiva sadityapi. The sadityapi asatsamam. Why? Anarthavatvat, meaning arthakriya shunyatvat. Narashrungatulyada narashrungavat. So Anuman is first is the pratignya. Sat asatsamam pratignya. Hetu. What is it? Arthakriya shunyatvat. Drishtanta narashrungavata. Iti anumanam up. So this anumanam is what Purvapakshi is presenting to establish that Sat that Shruti talks about is really asat or non-existent. Aprayojakattvena dushayati, that anumanam does not apply in this case and therefore finds fault with that anumanam. And said anarthatvam tu asatihi akaranam. Anarthavatvam na akaranam asati. Asat means for non-existence. So anarthavatvam, not useful, cannot be criterion to that something is not useful cannot be presented as the reason for its non-existence. So Tika says, anarthatvam tu asati. Asatve sadhye na karanam na prayojakam. That something is not useful cannot become the reason for establishing its non-existence. Although you have the criterion that something is only when it is useful, we say usefulness cannot be the criterion for establishing the existence of something, or reality of something. Why? Svabhava sattva sambhavat. Something can be sat by nature. Something is sat by nature, not so the sat or reality or existence determine whether it possesses nature of existence or not because it is useful or not. See what Vedanta is saying is something is because it is nature. So that should be the criterion whether isness is nature, not whether it is useful or not. So your reason that something is only when it is useful is not applicable here. Whether it possesses the nature of existence or not, that is what determines whether something exists. Anartha kriyakaritvasya asatva vyaptau संदिग्ध अनैकांतिकत्वा अनैकांतिकत्वाम उक्त्वा अनर्थ क्रियाकारित्वस्य, that something is not useful. Asatva vyaptau, that wherever usefulness is not there, is non-existent. So we said no. Something can be existent by nature, and therefore its usefulness or non-usefulness cannot be the criterion for determining its existence or not. Sandigdha anaikantikatvam uktva, that something is useful and still it is not there. They will show you that when you're walking, it's not here, but then when you're walking on the road, street, that there are no thorns or pebbles, and so you can walk. So non-existence of something becomes a usefulness, for your walking. So usefulness cannot be criterion for existence of something. Interesting illustrations they bring, So this obsession that you have, that something is only when it is useful, you have to give it up. Something is because to be is nature, that's all. Nachaiva tasmat tasmat artha kriyakaritvat naiva sattvam. Therefore, just because something is useful does not determine its existence. The usefulness does not establish existence of something. Says padanyasa artha kriyakarani kantakadi abhave. Padanyasadi artha kriyakarani. That you want to walk on a path in a forest, let us say, and you are able to walk like Bhagavan Ramji were walking. Kantakadi abhave. So, absence of thorns, etc. If Shabari will clear the path of all thorns and pebbles, and so that Lord Rama can walk on that, then the absence of the thorn and absence of pebbles becomes a reason for Lord Rama to walk. So it's not that presence alone is useful, absence also can be useful. If usefulness is a criterion, then absence also can be useful. Padanyasadi artha kriyakaya. Padanyasa means, stepping, walking on something. So that is a useful purpose. Something serves the purpose of helping you to walk on this path. And what is it? Absence of thorns and absence of pebbles, kantakadeva, sattva vivichara, therefore, only something existent can be useful, is not something non-existent also can be useful, like the non-existent pebbles and thorns, etc. So therefore the rule that only something existent can be useful is not always applicable. Vyabhichara is there. Hetu nirasanam upasamhari. What is hetu? That something is there because it is useful, it is dismissed here. Upasamharati, and therefore it said, na viparyaye anyatha. Viparyaye arthakaritva, arthakriyakaritva abhave nanyatha. That something is useful does not establish the existence, and something is not useful does not establish non-existence, anyatha. Something useful does not establish its existence, like absence of thorn, etc., and something is not useful does not establish non-existence. Asatvam na anyatha artha kriya karidvave na anyatha asatvam na sambhavati kriya utpattehe puram udasina vastu darshanat. Because kriya utpattehe purvam, before a kriya or before any artha kriya, any useful activity takes place, this thing is udasina, it is, it is actionless. And so it doesn't do anything. In short, before you take into, becoming useful, before something becomes useful, it is udasina. It's non-participating, not helpful. That doesn't mean it is not there. Anyatha sattvartha kriyayoho anyonyachayapadat. Sattva, artha kriya. Artha kriya is there was something is. How do you say that? Something is, therefore it is useful. Something is useful, therefore it is. But that something must be there for it being useful. You say something is useful because it is. But how does it become useful unless it is? So it has to be there to be useful, and according to you, it should be useful for it to be there. Thus, there is parasparashraya, anyonyashraya. And therefore, this arthakriya karitvam, being useful, cannot be the criterion for establishing the existence of something. Asiddhaschayam hetu hityaha. Ayam hetu arthakriya karitvam establishes sattvam is asiddhascha. So that even that hetu also is not established. So that's what the next verse is. Asiddhataschapi vichara karanad dvayam cha tasmat prasrutam cha mayaya shrute smruteschapi tatha hi yuktitah prasiddhyati tam natu yujyate nyatha. Asiddhataschapi vichara karanat dvayam cha tasmat prasut asiddhataschapi says I am hetuhu asiddha na kevalam anaikantikattvadeva anumanam apramanam. The anumanam that you presented, what is anumanam presented by them? Shrutam sat asatsam, your sat presented by Shruti is as good as non-existent because it is not useful like the horn of a human, of a human being. So this is anumanam they presented. What is the hetu there? Artha kriya shunyatvat. Because it is not useful. Even that also is not established. That sat is not useful. How do you, Sat is not useful, you assumed, and then you say that it is non-existent. But even then we say that usefulness is not the criterion for establishing existence. We prove other way around. Now even taking your own anumanam, that Sat does not exist because it is not useful. There is a question that usefulness is always a criterion for establishing existence of something. Doesn't apply everywhere. Asiddhaschayam hetuhu. That your hetu, the artha kriya, usefulness, is a criterion for establishing existence also is not applicable everywhere. Na kevalam anaikantikattvadeva anumanam apramanam apitu aswadabhimate atmani paksh asiddhescha. So there anaikantikatvam. Usefulness is not consistent to establish the existence of something. Apitu asmad abhimate atmani, but on the other hand, the atma that we are talking about, paksh asiddhehe iti apehe artha. The paksha is what? If you look at the anumanam, sat asat samam. So sat becomes the paksha. And that you want to establish that it is non-existent. So, asmat abhimate atmani paksha asiddhehe cha. The atma that we are talking about, in fact, even that cannot become the paksha, means an object of inquiry. Where you want to determine. Parvato vandiman, that the hillock has fire, that hillock becomes the paksha. But if you also want to determine something, atma cannot become paksha also. Asmat abhimate atmani paksha siddhe iti asistadascha api, that apehe artha. Alright, so we are asking him, artha kriyakar bahumatram hetuhu. For establishing that the sat is not there is the only reason that it is not useful. Paramartha visheshita tat abhava. Or paramarthataha, so you add the visheshanam paramarthataha. So paramarthata artha kriyakaritvad. Paramartha visheshita tad abhava. Artha kriya karitva abhav. Number one, that it is not useful. Is it the reason to establish non-existence? Or paramartha, in reality it is not useful. So we are asking him, what do you mean by it is not useful? When you say that sat is not useful, that is non-existent, so you mean that just because it is not useful, or you mean paramarthataha, in reality it is not useful. Adya siddhim, who says sat is not useful? Says vichara karanat. कूटस्थस्यापि सतः धर्मित्वेन विचार प्रवृत्ति कारणत्वात्. Even the sat or atma or Brahman is kutastham, changeless. Kutasthasyapi sata dharmitvena vichara pravrutti karana. But because it is dharmi, about which dharmi means possessing a dharma, whether it is sat, or not. So vichara pravrutti, that becomes the basis of vichara. Sat becomes the basis of inquiry whether it is there or not. Here we are in the process of determining whether sat is there or not. They say there is no sat because of their reason, artha kriya karitva shunyatvad, etc. We say that, and how do you say sat is not useful? Sat becomes a basis of vicharam. So for vichara it is useful. You follow what I am saying? Vichara pravrutti karanat. That you begin your inquiry or deliberation whether sat is there or not. For that deliberation, sat has to be accepted as the basis of vichara. Is it not so? So that way it is useful. It is useful as the basis of vichara. Then you may determine it is not there, but sat is accepted as vichara karanat. Kutasthasyapi satah dharmitvena. Even though sat is kutastha, changeless, still it is dharmi, meaning that vichara pravrutti karanam. It becomes a reason for initiating the deliberation. Number one, Maya dvaya shabdavache veda prapancha prahitutvacha. And secondly, that tasmat prasrutam cha maya. What is that? Sat is that from which the whole duality has emerged by Maya. So that this whole duality is there, that is a projection. That is a determinant. Projection requires an adhisthana. It requires a source of projection. So Sat is the very source from which the Maya has projected this whole universe. Meaning the Sat appears as the whole universe of names and forms. And therefore, that Sat alone, because of Maya, appears as the universe. That way also, Sat has to be useful, otherwise it can't appear as the universe. So, for appearing as the universe it is useful, number one. For being basis of deliberation, Sat is useful to begin with, that is there or not. And that Sat is the very adhishthanam for the projection of the universe, so that way also it serves the purpose. Maya dveshabdavache veda pracham prapancha prasrana hetutvad. So veda prapancha, dveshabdavache, what is called dvaya? Is this prapancha, the universe, consisting of all the Veda or the divisions. And you would accept the cause, the source of this prapancha, and Sat is the very source of the prapancha. So being source of prapancha also it is useful, and being basis of vichara also it is useful. How do you say it's not useful? You say Sat is not, it's not useful, So their transaction is always grahyam tyajyam. If you can you can acquire something, it's useful, or you can give away something. That is not only the criterion for being useful. It's useful for inquiry, it's useful for being the adhisthana of the... So usefulness need not be confined to the vyavahara of adana, pradana, etc. According to him, that is a vyavahara. That you can take something and acquire something, give up something. Here it is useful because basis of vichara is the basis or a source of dvayam, duality. So it's very useful. So even the lack of usefulness, your criterion also asiddhasayam hetu, that hetu that is not useful is also not proven, not established. Now how do you say it is the cause of Jagat by Maya? Maya Jagat Detutvam Sadhayati. All right. So we said that Sat is useful because it is cause of Jagat, through Maya. So now the teacher says, all right, how is Sat the source of Jagat through Maya? Shrutehe shruteschapicha tatha yuktitah. Shruti says, Mayam tu prakritim vidyan, Mayanam tu maheshwamiti shruti. Mayam tu prakritim vidya. Prakriti means material cause. Understand that Maya is the material cause. Mayanam tu maheshwaram, and Maheshwar is a Maya or Maya, we call it the nimitta karanam. You require two causes for the creation. Upadana karanam and nimitta karanam. So Maya is Prakriti, means Upadana karanam. Mayanam is a creator, is nimitta karanam. And therefore Maya is the Upadana karanam, therefore the cause of creation. That's what Shruti says. Shrutehe. Shruti also says, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam iti smritihi. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, which verse is that? Oh, a friend is not there. Where does this verse come? Maya adhyakshena, 11th? 7th? Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. That one will see this footnote. Oh, તમારી ચોપડીમાં footnote નથી. Okay, so yeah, 9, 10. So that is the 9th chapter, 10th verse. Adama Shvetastra Upanishad 4:10. Okay, all right. Shrutehe Shvetaswatra Upanishad Mayam tu Prakriti Vidyat Mayam tu Maheshwaram Smritehe Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. I am the Adhyaksh, the very witness. In my presence, Prakriti or the Maya creates the Sacharacharam, the moving and non-moving, this whole sentient, insentient creation is created in my Sannidhi. So, Prakriti, Shveta Upanishad presents Prakriti or Maya as a cause. Bhagavad Gita also uses Prakriti or Maya as a cause. So, Shruteschapi Maya Jagat Hetu. Maya is the Hetu for Jagat, is established by Shruti and Smriti. So therefore, Tasmat Prasrutam Cha Maya. The whole universe has emerged from Sat through Maya, so that way also Sat is useful, being the very source of the creation. How does this not useful? Yuktita. What is Yukti? Karyasya Vacharammanatva Pratipatti Sadhakatvanya Yukti. Vacharambanam Vikaranamadayam Mritika Ityeva Satyam. So in case of this part, what we call the part is Vikara. Part. Vacharambanam. What is nothing more than a name and form. It's no more than the word part. This object, reality, pot has reality no more than the word pot. Because reality is clay. If you take away the clay, nothing remains here. Therefore, the only reality that this entity has is the word pot, nothing more than that. Because reality is clay. So therefore, yuktitaha vacharammanatva pratipatti sadhakata nyaya. Karyam, such as a part, is mithya. Meaning that its reality is no more than the word part. That is what the Shruti says. And that also is Nyaya. Shruti says, then Shruti gives us the rule that whatever is a product, whatever is the karyam, is mithya. Karanam is satyam. Upadana karanam is satyam. Tad ananyatvam arambana shabdadibhya. Brahma Sutra also is there, 3, 2 and 14. Ittam kutasthasyāpi atha kriyākāryatvam prasidhyati. Therefore, even kutastha also is useful. So, 2 uses have been shown. What's the first use? It becomes a basis of vichara. What is the second use? It is the source of the creation through Maya. So, who says Sat is not useful? Ittam kutasthasyāpi artha kriyākāryatam prasidhyate. Atahetu asiddhi, that it is anartham, anartha kriyākāritvam is hetu. That is usefulness is not there. Even that hetu also is dismissed here, that is useful. Dvitiyam drishtanta asiddhya dushayati. So the question was, artha kriya abhavamatram hetu paramartha visheshita dabhava. You say that Sat is not there because it is not useful, or in reality is not useful. So, what is it? Natu yujyate anyatha. Anyatha paramartha artha kriyakarithvam sthirasya kshanikasya va na yujyate. Anya not otherwise. Means what? So, paramarthata artha kriyakaritvam. Paramartha artha kriyakaritvam sthirasya kshanikasya va na yujyate. Now, the Buddha is being told that in reality the usefulness is not there either in something that is momentary or something that is steady. Akriyasya akarakatvat. Because sat is akriya, kutastha, changeless. And therefore it cannot become part of an action. See, an action or kriya can be accomplished when these karakas are there. When karta is there, karma is there, karanam is there, sampradhanam is there, and what is it, the apadanam is there, and adhishtanam, adhikaranam is there. So, otherwise, sthirasya kshanikasya va na yujyate akriyasya akarakatvat. All of these, whether it is karta, doer, karma, the object upon which action is performed, karanam, instrument through which it is done, means, and then for whom, like devata, for whom it is done, where the movement takes place, apadanam, or the location, all of these involve kriya. So, sthirasya kshanikasya va parama artha kriyakaritam na yujyate. Anyatha parama artha kriyakaritvam na yujyate avikriyasya akarakatvat. So, akriya atma cannot become karta. All of these are, changing or subject to kriya or modification. So, parama artha kriyaka sthirasya kshanikasya va na yujyate. Whether it is sthira, steady, or is momentary, they cannot be in reality useful. Akriyasya akarakatvat, because that which is inactive cannot be a part of the kriya. Atma is inactive, therefore cannot become the part of kriya. Or anything cannot become paramartha, anything cannot become the part of kriya in reality. Anyata artha kriya sthirasya kshanikasya va na yujyate. Whether something is sthira, steady, or momentary, in reality it cannot become the akriyasya karakatvat. That which is akriya or devoid of any kriya, it cannot be a karaka. All karaka, whether it's karta, karma, all of them involve some kriya or activity. That devoid of any activity cannot become the karaka. Kriya karyam prati api kriyavatva apattau anavastha prasangat. Kriya karyam prati. What is the karya of the kriya, what is the outcome of the kriya also becomes kriyavatva apattau. That also has necessarily kriyavatvam, then also its outcome is also kriyavatvam. And that for kriyavatvam you must be the kriya karyam and kriya karyam. So this is how the anavastha prasangadadi. So therefore these sthirasya kshanikasya va, whether it is sthira, whether it is steady or momentary, in reality there cannot be artha kriya karitvam of anything. Akriyasya akarakatvat, because that which akriya cannot be a karaka. So dvitiyam drishtanta siddhya. What is dvitiyam? Artha kriya paramartha visheshita tad abhava. Paramartha artha kriya karitva abhava is the reason. So paramarthataha artha kriya karitva na yujyate. In reality, nothing, whether it's steady or momentary, possesses any usefulness, because in reality the Kriya and Akriya cannot become part of Kriya. And therefore, the second one, that Paramartha Visheshita, Paramartha Artha Kriyakaritvam, Paramartha Artha Kriyakaritvam cannot be there, either Sthira or Kshanina cannot have in reality any usefulness. Akriyasya akarakatvat, because that which is akriya or inactive cannot be a karaka. And so in absolute reality, sat or anything cannot have artha kriya karitva. Kriya karyam prati api kriyavatva apattau anavastha prasangādedik. So kriya karyam, what is the result of the kriya, also must be possessing kriya. Then kriya means that again it will bring about some karya, that also must have kriya, and that way you can't determine ultimately, what is the what is the karakam and what is the kriya. So anavastha prasangat. Sarvavikalpa hetutvat advayasya sarvayuktattvamidi. You say that advaya is the sarvavikalpa hetu. Non-dual, the truth is the reason for all the kalpana, adhisthana. Sat is adhisthana, which is hetu, or the cause for all projections. Then if it is the basis of all the projection, then it possesses all projection. Well, does it not? Sarva vikalpa hetutvat advayasya sarva vikalpa yuktatvam iti. If advayam or sat is the basis of all the vikalpana, that means it possesses all vikalpana. So therefore the Shanka is presented. It is ashankya. The Shanka already is done and the answer is given. So Shanka is not presented here. But this is an answer to the Shanka. It is ashankya. Having raised that doubt, aha, and then the answer is given. Vikalpana chapi vidharmakam shrutehe pura prasiddhesya vikalpato dvayam न चेतिनेतीति यथा विकल्पितम् निषिध्यते त्राप्य विशेष सिद्धये. विकल्पनच्चापि विधर्मकम् विधर्मकम् विरुद्ध स्वभाव इत्यर्थः. विकल्पनच्चापि विरुद्ध स्वभावम् निष्कलम निष्क्रियम इत्यादि श्रुते विकल्पतः पुरा प्रसिद्धेश्च. सो विकल्पनाच्चापि विधर्मकम विरुद्ध स्वभावम इत्यर्थः. एंड पुरा प्रसिद्धेश्च निष्कलम इत्यादि श्रुते विकल्पतः पुरा प्रसिद्धेश्च. Second line, pura prasiddhesya vikalpatah. Vikalpatah, so adhishthanam must be there before the kalpana. So that upon which any kalpana is done, that must exist, that must, pre-exist, before the kalpana is done. So pura prasiddhehe, the adhishthanam must exist before the kalpana or projection takes place. Vikalpada advayam. Nedam yadi upasate neti neti iti nishiddhyamana chetana chetana vikalpa avasana siddhe. Okay, then. So vikalpanachapi vidharmakam. So viruddha svabhavam ityartha. And number one, because it is vikalpanachapi vidharmakam, therefore also viruddha svabhavam ityartha. If vikalpana is there, then also it must be of the nature quite contrary to the vikalpana. Shrutehi pura prasiddhescha, and the Shruti says that the adhishthanam must exist before the projection takes place. Nishkaram nishkriyam iti Shrutehi. There is something nishkaram, partless, nishkriyam, any inactive. Ityadi Shrutehi vikalpatah pura prasiddhescha iti yuktehi. Shruti says that the truth is nishkalam, nishkriyam, and therefore it is there before any kriya also takes place. So this Shruti says that it pre-exists any kind of kalpana. Vikalpatah pura prasiddhehe iti yuktescha. So number one, vidharmakam viruddha svabhavam iti. Number two, the Shruti also says that it must pre-exist before the kalpana takes place. So advayam, it is, so vikalpa advayam. Vikalpatah pura prasiddhescha advayam. Because it is pre-exists before the kalpana, therefore advayam is there. You would accept advayam before it, because it must pre-exist or it will exist before this vikalpana. Because vikalpana is there, therefore the adhisthana is viruddha dharmakam, and vikalpana is there, therefore adhisthana must pre-exist. Nedam yadidam upasate neti neti iti nishiddhyamana chetana achetana vikalpa avasana siddhe. So here nedam yadi upasate, whatever it is that you are worshipping, that is other than you, idam. Brahman is not idam. Nedam yad idam upasate, that which you are worshipping as idam is not Brahman. Neti neti, similarly also, whatever is perceivable, all names and forms and visheshas are all negated. Neti neti iti nishiddhyamana chetana achetana vikalpa avasana siddhe. So neti neti, chetana and achetana, sentient, insentient, everything is negated. That Brahman cannot be classified as chetana or achetana. It's the basis of both of them. Atrapi nishedavakyeshu api vikalpa vidharmakam advayam. So therefore nishedavakya api vikalpa vidharmakam. That which is vidharmakam possesses the nature quite contrary to vikalpa, that advayam. Advayam is that which possesses nature contrary to kalpana, because it is adhisthana. So nirvishesham siddhamiti. Point is that when you negate something, it must ultimately leave to some avadhi or something residual which is non-negatable. So all vishesha, when neti neti, all visheshas, all attributes are negated, it must leave ultimately something that is devoid of attributes. Nacha iti neti neti, nacha iti neti iti yatha vikalpitam nishidyate. Yatha vikalpitam neti neti nishidyate. Nacha tatha advayam, nacha tatha advayam atma tattvam nishidyate. What is nishidyate is all vishesha. What is vishesha? Vikalpitam. All kinds of qualifications, attributes are all there projected. Because the basis is that which is devoid of all the attributes, and therefore whatever attributes we see anywhere, even in Bhagavan also, Savishesha Brahma or Saguna Brahma, all gunas or Vishesha are projected. Vikalpitam neti neti nishidyate. So neti neti, by that all vikalpitam, all visheshanam or vikalpitam, in that anything where the vikalpana aspect is that is negated, and then remains adhisthana which is non-negatable. Nacha tatha advayatmatam nishidyate. In that manner the advaya, non-dual atma is not nishidyate, just as the projection is, or vikalpana or vishesha is nishidyate. Atrapi ashesha siddhe. And therefore, for establishing something that does not, does not leave any shesha. So ashesha siddhe, when all sheshas are negated, something exists also, and so all negation must ultimately result into something that is non-negatable. All visheshana are negated to lead to something that is nirvishesham. All dvaya is negated to lead to something that is advayam. Therefore, vikalpanachapi, because there is vikalpana projection, therefore the advayam is vidharmakam, of the opposite nature, viruddha svabhavam. The vikalpana is projection, is mithya, and that presupposes also viruddha svabhavam, which is real. Pura prasiddhescha, and vikalpana presupposes a base of adhishthanam, so advayam must pre-exist before the projection of dvaitam. Neti neti yasa vikalpitam. And then neti neti only negates vikalpitam, does not negate what is not projected. Advayam is not negated by neti neti. Atrapi ashesha siddhe, and therefore he also for ashesha siddhi, for establishing something that is avishesham, avishesiddha. Divide all visheshas that can be arrived at only when the visheshas are negated. So, nacha tad tatha advayam atmatatam nishidyate. All dvaya is nishidyate always. In that manner, advayam atmatattvam is not negated, is not negatable. So, whatever negatable requires you to experience that. You can negate something that this is not there, provided you experience it. And what you can't experience cannot be negated, but what you don't experience also is. So it is and still not negatable. And so this is the whole problem, that we are talking about the self, which is altogether a different category from everything that we know and everything that we experience. And if you want to arrive at the truth based on what you know, that doesn't work. What you know is all duality, what you know is savishesham, what you know is all negatable, what you know is all mithya. And therefore from that you can never arrive at the truth. And all other philosophers start with what they experience to arrive at what is the reality. It can never not happen. Therefore you require Shruti. You require Shruti, which only can tell you, that even what is that you do not experience is also there. Something is there that you do not experience, but then still the fact that you are means that is there, not that experience is not the criterion, being is a criterion. So therefore to establish the nature of reality, we cannot use the yukti or use the rules that we derive from the duality which is mithya. Therefore, Shruti alone is competent to reveal what the truth is, and then we can apply reason to understand that what Shruti says is reasonable. We cannot arrive at it by reason, but when we look at when we analyze the Shruti, then we realize that it is reasonable. Therefore, Shruti alone is required to reveal the nature of reality. Not our experience, not our logic, not our reasoning, which is all based on dvaya, which is all mithya. And so reasoning that we derive also will be based on mithya. Therefore, tarka cannot become the basis of determining the reality. Shruti alone can be. They won't arrive at by tarka, artha, kriya, karitvam and stuff like that. So that cannot become the basis at all. Shruti alone is the basis. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.